I lost my dad really suddenly in a really traumatic way. And then I lost my sister really suddenly as well. So there was like a lot of grief. But both of those griefs were when I was pregnant. So I sort of held it all in, held it all together for the kids. And then the COVID happened. At this point, I had my youngest baby and they were like, you've got to have the COVID vaccine to protect her. You've got to do it. And I felt like, oh my God, she's going to die if I don't. At this point, my anxiety was like through the roof. My baby, she was 3 weeks old. She was pooing what looked like yellow shaving foam coming out of her, and she had yellow boils all over her bum, and then she was suddenly intolerant to everything. And my blood pressure went through the roof as well. All my liver markers were off. I think I'd got a really bad mastitis, ended up in hospital. And then they said, we're going to have to put you on blood pressure medication, but you have to stop breastfeeding. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not stopping breastfeeding my baby. She's 3 weeks old. And one of my friends actually suggested homeopathy. Have you tried homeopathy? And she recommended my homeopath and went to see her. She gave me aconite, and I just remember literally overnight, I was just like, oh my God, so calm. I could actually function again. And my oldest at the time, she used to get really bad croup. So I used to have to give her steroids. And one night she woke up and I remember she couldn't breathe. And she was at the door, gasping for air. And I gave her an aconite. And literally, within 30 seconds, I'm not kidding you, it just stopped. And I was just like...
Today's guest is Kate Howard, who is the CHE Pro Manager for the Centre for Homeopathic Education. So we'll be talking about some of the really exciting things that's coming up for CHE Pro members and some exclusives. If you're not a CHE Pro member yet, the doors are currently closed, but they will be opening again soon. So you can visit cheonline.co.uk for more information. Or if you just want to know a bit more about the Centre for Homeopathic Education, visit chehomeopathy.com. And if you would like an amazing homeopath, Kate is still taking on new clients. So visit katehowardhomeopathy.com. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout podcast, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now our mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and welcome to Homeopathy Hangout, where today we get to hang out with CHE Pro Manager Kate Howard in the UK. Welcome to the show, Kate.
Hello. Nice to see you all.
So Kate and I have been a little bit to do with each other the last few months since I opened CHE in Australia. And Kate does all sorts of bits and pieces for CHE, but it's just been lovely to get to know you and, having a few little messages back and forth. And I was like, you need to come onto the podcast and just tell our listeners about some of the amazing things that CHE is doing. But you know the drill. Tell us firstly how you were first introduced to homeopathy.
Okay, so I was actually a nurse before coming into homeopathy. I worked in the NHS since I was about 17, started as a healthcare assistant and then went into training. I worked kind of in a few different areas. I quite like the stressful stuff. I worked in critical care and I actually really enjoyed palliative care, did a lot in research. So, I've completely changed in terms of, I've gone from trialing vaccines in the research. I worked with a lot of rare lung diseases, trialing drugs. And it was actually those moments that got me thinking from the things that I saw. And then when I had my babies, I discovered homeopathy because I had a reaction to the COVID vaccine. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
That's okay.
So you know how YouTube deleted my channel in June 2023 for talking about COVID. But now that, RFK is running the show, YouTube has actually brought that channel back now because they've actually backtracked on all of this sort of stuff. So go for it. Talk about vaccines as much as you like. At the moment, if the government changes over there, things might change again. But for now, we're good.
Yeah. So basically, it was actually quite a stressful time in my life. A lot had happened. And you can see, as homeopaths, you would see this picture of a lot of emotional suppression and then bam, COVID vaccine. Let's just add that into the mix. So I lost my dad really suddenly in a really traumatic way. Like I was there when he died. And then I lost my sister really suddenly as well. So there was like a lot of grief, but both of those griefs were when I was pregnant. So I sort of held it all in, held it all together for the kids. And then, yeah, the COVID happened. At this point, I didn't have any idea about homeopathy. Had my youngest baby, and they were like, you've got to have the COVID vaccine to protect her. You've got to do it. And I felt like, oh my God, she's going to die if I don't. At this point, my anxiety was like through the roof. I was, at a level where I couldn't take my kids to the park because I thought that they would touch something and die. This was before COVID, my anxiety was bad. And I had the vaccine, and literally the day after, my baby, she was 3 weeks old, she was pooing what looked like shaving foam, but it was like yellow shaving foam coming out of her, and she had yellow boils all over her bum. And then she was suddenly intolerant to everything, dairy, soya, egg, gluten, everything I had to cut out of my diet. She was just so intolerant. And my blood pressure went through the roof as well. All my liver markers were off. I think I'd got a really bad mastitis, ended up in hospital. It was a big mess, basically. And they wanted to put me on, they do all the tests. They did scans. I had to wear monitors for my heart and everything. And then they said, we're going to have to put you on blood pressure medication, but you have to stop breastfeeding. I can't remember which medication it was. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not stopping breastfeeding my baby. She's 3 weeks old. So at the time I was home educating, and my kids are all in school now, but I was home educating back then. And one of my friends actually suggested homeopathy. Have you tried homeopathy? And I was like, tell me about it. And I remember walking around this garden place with the kids. And then I was seeing a cranial sacral therapist at the time. And I said to her, can you recommend anyone? And she recommended my homeopath, and went to see her. She gave me aconite, 1M, that was, to start. And I just remember literally overnight, I was just like, oh my God, so calm, I could actually function again. And I think Daisy had Thuya, classic, and she started feeling a lot better. But I think what did it for me, and really what sparked my interest in it, was she asked me to get the Ainsworth's kit, and she said, I'll teach you to treat the kids. So she started teaching me how to treat them. And my oldest at the time, who was only 2, no, she must have been a bit older than that, 4 maybe. She used to get really bad croup, to the point that we had steroids in the cupboard at home, because that's all I knew. So I used to have to give her steroids. And one night she woke up, and I remember she couldn't breathe, and she was at the door, gasping for air. And I gave her an aconite, and literally within 30 seconds, I'm not kidding you, it just stopped. And I was just like, oh my God. I think at the beginning of a homeopathy journey, you have that sort of well, would that have happened anyway? And, am I thinking it in my head? Is my anxiety gone because I'm thinking it's gone, But seeing things like that would just blew me away. And then I remember saying to Annie, my homeopath, I was like, what books can I read? I need to read more about this. I need to find out more. And she has this in her clinic, this just double bookshelf of books full, from years and years of practice. And she would give me a book, and I'd take it away and read it, and then I'd bring it back and she'd give me another one. And and I just could not stop. I just was reading homeopathy all day, into the evening, feeding the baby, And then I said to her, I remember text her, and I said, I have to be a homeopath. I have to be one. And I was looking at where I could train. And I looked at CHE, I looked at all the colleges. And she said, well, why don't I train you? I can take you on and I can train you. Because she'd had the Salisbury College. So she'd had a classical college in Salisbury that she'd run. She was the principal. So who better to train me? And so she took me on. I think it was the end of 2021. And I trained with her, and it was I saw patients from day one because I was under her supervision, started building my practice straight away. And now we work out the same clinic together. So yeah, it's incredible.
You've given me all over goosebumps. It seems that you're somebody that is very trainable, because it sounds like you were at the hospital from when you were 17. So I'm guessing that was kind of like an apprentice kind of style as well. And your homeopathic journey sounds like that was kind of apprentice style as well.
Yeah,
Which is the way to go,
yeah.
right? Like immersing
Yeah.
yourself straight into it and just getting in there and learning from someone like that.
I think
And
that's the thing. And I think there's different ways to train, isn't there? And it worked for me. It worked for me because I think I was at a time in my life as well where I was still very fragile from everything. And I think having that space and that support, was really amazing. But I've learned so much. And then,
incredible.
yeah. And then how I got to CHE was I was actually doing a social media webinar for the Society of Homeopaths. And I did that and they were advertising it on Instagram. And then Yasmin, who works for CHE as well, she found me on Instagram and it all just happened like that. So, power of social media. And then here I am.
I love Yasmin. Shout out to Yasmin.
Shout out to Yasmin. Thank you, Yasmin.
With CHE going to this new kick-ass platform with the AI integration and everything. It's just so incredible. Yasmin has been instrumental in getting all the little, bits and pieces smoothed out. So Yasmin and I have had a lot to do with each other the last little bit. Yasmin, can you help?
She's multi-talented.
Yes, and she's so patient and she's a really good teacher. She explains really well. She sent me a few Loom videos of do this, do that. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I know what it's on about. That's amazing. Now, tell me a little bit about CHE Pro. So I had a chat with some potential students today as well and, just telling them my journey of how I found CHE. And I was one of the, foundation people who signed up for CHE Pro. And I remember it was August 2019 because I was thinking, how did I even get the emails of CHE? I don't even remember how it came across my path. I have no idea. I must have been signed up to the newsletter. And so when CHE Pro launched, I was in that first cohort that signed up. And I have been subscribed to many different professional development platforms over the years. And a lot of them are really amazing, absolutely amazing. But there's something about CHE Pro. And I think it's the lecturers, just the incredible lecturers and the variety of lecturers and everything else. But anyway, so for me, it was a natural progression to, be doing what I'm doing now and be involved with CHE in this way. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about CHE Pro and what it is, because some of the listeners might not know what it is. So maybe tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. And I think this is very common amongst so many people that join, is they join us and they're like, I didn't realize there was all of this amazing content and all of this being offered, in this membership. And everyone's always blown away. I had a welcome call last week with all the, do monthly welcome calls for everyone that's onboarding, just to make sure that they're accessing everything and can navigate everything okay. And so many people, we had medics on there, we had vets on there that, whoa, I didn't realize there was all this stuff. Wow, And I think that's definitely something that we need to get out there more. But I think it's almost something that you don't quite, until you can sit and see everything within CHE Pro and actually experience the live weekly webinars that we have, you don't quite grasp the power of it. So basically, it's a membership for professional homeopaths. We do have some students on there as well. We normally say fourth year probably, mainly so that it doesn't overwhelm them in terms of their study, because there is a lot and you end up down rabbit holes, I assure you.
I've said that to our students as well, because a few of them were like, should we join CHE Pro? I'm like, no, only focus on your coursework for now. Only watch, just finish your qualification and then you can go straight into CHE Pro. And it's kind of like holding your hand instead of just finishing your qualification, then you're out in the big wide world. You get your hand held in such a beautiful way.
Yeah, and you have that community within your study, within your course, and then that then can carry on into pro, where we're building this. Oh, it's just the community is the best bit for me, because it's just, we all know as homeopaths, we work in isolation, don't we? A lot of the time we work on our own a lot, and just to have other people, but also globally, we're all on Zoom together chatting. And it's what we need as a profession. I honestly, do believe that's what we need to elevate ourselves, but also to grow,
Elevate. I like how you segue that. Nice.
We'll come to that.
We're going to come to that. But what have you guys got planned for? Or maybe run us through some of the things that's on there at the moment, and then run us through what you got planned for next year, because I know there's some big things in the pipeline.
Yeah, we've got lots coming up. And so basically at the moment, when you join, you have access to the CHE Pro portal, basically. And within there's all the recordings. So we have old recordings, like historical recordings of all the webinars that we've done. So, we have courses in cancer care with Hilary Dorian. We have
Robin
Murphy. We have the great homeopaths.
Colin Griffiths.
Colin Griffiths.
Deonta Brett.
Literally.
Sharon Jacobs.
So, yeah.
Caroline
Sharon
Gaskin.
Jacobs, Dion.
Ralph Huter.
Ralph Huter. Yeah. And also special one-off, Tony Hurley, he comes on regularly. We've got, there's so much content and I could even reel it off now, and it's content that is not accessible anywhere else, but it's in this amazing library where you can then pick and choose what you want to watch depending on what you need for your, for your own growth. But also I find it, if I'm treating a particular case and I want to look, read around topics, we have Deonta Brett doing like polycystic ovary syndrome. Hilary's doing the lax. There's just so much variety. And then so we have all the recordings there. And then we also have our live weekly webinars. So again, all of those are recorded and uploaded onto the portal. So if you can't make the lives, then you can catch up when you want to. We have 5 live webinars per month. So it works out as 1 a week, or on the shorter months, it's 2 fall in 1 week. We have Materia Medica. So last week we had Tony Hurley join us, and this week we have clinical therapeutics. And again, Tony Hurley's joining us today actually, and he's going to be doing the lanthanide series. Last week, Materia Medica was Thomas Morn's combination remedies, but that will change. That will like rotate around different lecturers and different subjects, different themes, different topics. And so we have clinical therapeutics, Materia Medica, we have a homeopathy spotlight, and that's where Marcus will interview a lecturer from around the world. So we had Richard Pitt, we had Dr. Roger Morrison, and
I've been on there too. It was a while ago, I think over a year ago. And Sarah
so it's a bit like this, isn't it? We're just having a chat. And I think, this month we have, obviously this is December, we have Kathleen Scheibel, who is
Shibely,
on the PAC committee. Shibely, is that right? I've been pronouncing it wrong.
That's right. I could, maybe I'm wrong. Kathleen. I have no idea.
She's going to be talking about the PAC committee, the Political Action Committee in America. So yeah, we have those 3, and then we have clinical casework, which is just gold dust. This is like an hour and a half workshop where homeopaths, they can bring their cases that they're stuck with or unsure of, ask any questions. And then you've got like the likes of Hilary Dorian just sat there helping you with your cases. Dion, we had Carmen last week. She was great. And every lecturer will do it slightly differently and they'll really take a different stance on it. Carmen really was looking into the rubrics and encouraging sort of to think about how you'd repertorize that and how you would look for the remedies. She's done a lot of work in India, so she was bringing in like her knowledge from there. And then you've got Hilary, who's, so wise and knows so much. And it's just really nice because it just gives you that fresh perspective on a case. And I think that's one of my favorites, I think. And we also have professional development as well, practitioner development. So we've had Kieran Grover on doing a lot with your ideal client, finances, looking at your finances, what you want to achieve. But that, again, that will rotate around different lecturers and different topics and themes. So yeah, there's always something going on in CHE Pro. And we also, we take suggestions. People give us ideas of what they want to see more of, which leads me into what we've got coming up, which is really exciting.
Go for it. The floor is yours. I would like to do a drum roll, but this mic is really good, so it cuts out outside noises. So I don't think you'll be able to hear it.
No. So we've got in January. So basically, this is all free for CHE Pro members. So this is the amazing thing as well, is you sign up and you get access to all this amazing content. Plus, we've now started doing CHE Pro meets. So we did one in, was it October? Face-to-face meet. We want to start doing this and like sort of creating hubs everywhere so that we can come together face-to-face, because, it's amazing being able to meet online, but actually being with each other, I think, is really important.
That's a big one for Marcus. Hey, like he really wants to keep it local. Like he says something like focus global and reach local. Or, he's got this saying that he says something about, like have this
we are
global
global.
focus. Yeah, but then with this local focus and like getting people to meet in person, which I think is crazy. Yeah.
That's the way forward.
Really where the deep connections happen.
Totally. And we've really found that the first Pro Hub meet, and we did a social media workshop. So Yasmin and I, again, we did a social media workshop for homeopaths, and that's part of their CHE Pro membership. And they came and it was just the energy in the room was lovely. And it was just witnessing sort of people starting to recognize, I'm interested in that too. We had a lot of homeopaths sort of starting to talk about agro-homeopathy together and, sharing ideas and just building those bonds. And it was really special because you could see that they were being held by this support in that room. And it was really lovely. And I've also started a monthly circle meet. I call it like a circle meet for pro members where we just meet on Zoom and just chat about things we're struggling with. We end up talking about cases most of the time.
Yeah.
But what was lovely is, like with clinical casework, it's often the webinar, it's more led by the lecturer, and us as homeopaths are bringing the cases to the lecturers. Whereas this circle meet, what was really lovely about it is it gave a different aspect of clinical casework in that, there was, how many on there, like 40 of us on there or something. And we were all going away and having a look at rubrics and suggesting books and ideas and research. And it was like really collaborative. And then that person who'd asked about the case, she'd then had so many ideas, and you almost can see that, again, you see that case a lot more clearly, don't you? And she was able to then go off and become unstuck, as you say.
Something magical that happens when homeopaths come together and just talk these things through. I definitely have that with my team of homeopaths when we have our meets. The second we start collaborating on a case, because everyone sees a case from a different angle. I always feel like sometimes us homeopaths are like, like a blind person who is looking, like touching a part of an elephant and going like, this is homeopathy, or this is the case. But then actually, if we all give our views, then we can kind of get a whole view of what the elephant really looks like.
Yeah, totally. And I think we can get so stuck down a rabbit hole with it, can't we? And we can't sometimes see clearly. And often we don't even need the help. It's just speaking it out to someone else who understands.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, yeah, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you just it just comes to you. And it's just having that safe space, isn't it, to talk about it. And also to be vulnerable, because I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves a lot of the time to treat the patient, to find the remedy, to prescribe. And sometimes it is okay to be like, look, do you know what? I'm really struggling here. And, I can't see what's going on. And sometimes we just need someone else's experience that's experienced something similar, within their clinical or their own lives even. And that's the magic. That is the collaboration, isn't it? That's the community.
It really is. I was just going to say, I'm just excited to hear what you've got planned for next year. I've heard a couple of things, but I'd love to hear what you've got planned.
So let's go on it. So in January, we have a series starting with Richard Pitt, which I'm so excited about. His book is like my favorite book, The Comparative Materia Medica. And he's so experienced. He's basically coming to do I think he's doing 5 sessions on the evolution of materia medica and clinical practice in Africa. So he's going to be doing 5 different sessions, one on comparative materia medica, one on thematic materia medica, which is his latest book. And he's writing part 2 at the moment, I believe. He's going to talk about clinical prescribing in an African context, because he's done so much work. He's done like 9 years of work in Africa. And he's talking about African provings and the use of nosodes as well in homeopathic practice.
I just had to go check here because I had him on the podcast. I had to go check what episode it was. It says 308. So episode 308 was with Richard Pitt. So for our listeners, go listen to that. And then also listen to episode 341, which is with Barbara Braun. And he introduced me to Barbara Braun. She's in Swaziland. And the two of them wrote a book together as well that will blow your mind. And in this episode, we talk about that as well. So go listen to those 2 episodes. But Richard Pitt is a fountain of knowledge.
He's done amazing work and done amazing work in Africa and Kenya. He is, I would say, what I love about him is again, I will say about his book, I just love it, but I use it all the time in my practice because he really differentiates the remedies so well. And I find that so helpful, because sometimes remedies can seem so similar and it just takes one thing to differentiate, in your case. So yeah, really excited about that. So he's going to be doing a free webinar on the 7th of January.
So for our listeners, hopefully you're listening to this on the Monday when it comes out and you've got a couple of days to register. So Kate, can you just let people know where they would register for the free webinar?
That's going to be on our main website.
Yeah, so cheonline.co.uk or would be chehomeopathy.com. Either of those. I tell you what, listeners, just check out the show notes. And if you're not sure, some people don't know where to find the show notes. So if you don't know where to find the show notes, just go to chehomeopathy.com and just email them through there and then they'll have it sorted by then, I'm sure. So there's the free webinar that people can join and then they'll kind of give you a taster of what he's going to be going through. And this is only for CHE Pro members, right?
So this is just for CHE Pro members, but you will be able to buy the course if you're not a CHE Pro member.
Okay, cool.
You can still sign up if you're not, but it's just that CHE Pro members, it's included in their membership. And the same with all the courses that we're running. So I'm going to tell you in a minute about, we have Brian Kaplan joining us in March, and he's going to talk a lot about the history of homeopathy. So he's going to do, what happened to homeopathy in the UK, the history of of homeopathy. He's talking about taking a case. Obviously, it's one of the first books that I ever read that Annie gave me to read is The Homeopathic Conversation. So when Marcus said about Brian coming on, I was like, yes, because it's so much about the conversation with the patient, the therapeutic space, right?
Yeah.
So, he's going to really talk about psychotherapy in terms of taking the case and then two sides of homeopathy, so science and speculation. So he's doing quite a broad range in terms of the webinar. Yes, that's going to be a 4-part series. And again, it's free for CHE Pro members, but non-CHE Pro members can buy that separately. So that's going to be really good because I just think it's quite nice to have a mixture, sometimes it's all sort of remedy based and materia medica, whereas Brian is coming at it from more of, being with the patient and then sprinkling in some history and what happened to homeopathy.
I think it's really important because we can learn so much from our own history, our homeopathic history. Yeah. There's so many lessons that we can learn from there. And it also, I feel, gives us a deeper appreciation of the bigger picture that we're part of and the shoulders of the giants that we stand on. And I think knowing that history just, it gives you a bigger appreciation for what we do, I think.
Yeah. And also, I love that he's going to be talking the science and the speculation around homeopathy. And there's so much research now in homeopathy that proves that it works on the, this biological cellular level. So I'm really interested about, what he's got to say about that. So we've got Brian in March. He's going to be doing a free webinar it's going to be probably the end of February. So you'll have time when you listen to this podcast to sign up to that free webinar. Come and find out more about it and listen to Brian Kaplan. So the free webinars are basically for you to come and find out more about the course before you buy it if you're not a CHE Pro member. Yeah, and then we have in April, Jerry van den Bosch joining us, which I'm so excited about.
He was on the podcast a little while ago, and I'll tell you what, it was one of the best feedbacks that I've had on any podcast episode. I don't know if I was the one that suggested him to Marcus, but I often, if I've had a podcast guest that's really blown my mind and that I've had a lot of, feedback from, I'll often feed that through to Marcus. I'm like, this person's amazing. But Jerry's a great teacher. I actually was referred him as a guest from Callie Palomino and Leah Bug. And so they had done his courses and were like, Eugenie, this guy's amazing. And then I had him on the podcast and I'm like, holy moly. And so I'm really glad that he's getting a bit more exposure because he does some really good work and he's a great lecturer.
Yeah. And he's doing a really long, really in-depth webinar series. It's over 7 parts. So it's going to be over 7 weeks. And he's going to be doing obviously organopathy, his, SAR codes. So he's going to be doing practical applications of SAR codes and drainage in homeopathy. So functional homeopathy for a new era of integrative healing.
Marcus always calls it the Netflix of homeopathy. And it is a bit
really is. It really is. And I think like I said, until you're in there and you are witnessing and listening to the lives and the recordings, and then you get access to all these webinar series, it's amazing. And again, before I knew about CHE, I had no idea what CHE Pro is. So, I'm really shouting about it now because it's such a support as a professional.
It really is. Have you got anything like booked past April?
We have.
Do you? Oh my gosh. I'm just
having a look, but they're
we maybe don't want to tease them like too far in advance, hey?
Yeah, we're gonna keep some stuff
under the wraps. No, fair enough.
But we have lots coming.
I just have a question though, because I know that the CHE Pro doors were recently closed because you've got to, well, maybe tell us why that is. I know why, but you tell our listeners why that is and if and when you're going to open them again.
So basically, we decided to close the doors just to new members. So any CHE graduates, anyone that's trained with CHE can still join, that's fine. But we decided to close to new members while we're going through a little bit of a transformation within CHE Pro. We have a brand new platform coming, and we really want it to be as smooth as possible, moving everyone over to the new platform. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes because basically for any current CHE Pro members or people that are listening to this that then sign up, you'll see that sort of all the content is in one place. We want to make it a lot more user-friendly so that everything is together for you and easier to navigate. We also have like an online circle community group, which is like a forum. So you can go on there and chat, post things, ask questions. And that's currently a separate URL, a separate place, the platform to go to. So we want to bring it all together so that everyone's in one place. It's going to be on an app. So you'll have your own CHE app to access everything. But we wanted to make sure that it was as seamless as possible for everyone because we've got a lot of members. So we're going to have to move everyone over. And we didn't want to cause stress for new members who are already navigating the system and trying to figure it out,
Do you have like any ideas on when you're going to reopen it?
We don't at the moment. We don't have a confirmed date, but it will be as soon as possible. Basically, we're working really hard to get it going and get it ready. So hopefully not too long.
I have to share a really funny story that, a couple of weeks, whenever it was that you announced that you're going to close it, I had all these messages from people around the world. Is CHE closing down? Is CHE closing down? I'm like, message markers. What? Why are people thinking that CHE is closing down? What is going on? And then got a message from Kate. No, it's just CHE Pro. It's just CHE Pro. And we were like, I think you might have to put a different message out because people are like, I've just started CHE Australia now. People are thinking it's closing down. But then it was put out there that, it's just CHE Pro that's just closing for a short while. And also, it's funny the little like Chinese whispers through because I heard through the grapevine, somebody was like, oh, it's because of Eugenie's involvement with CHE Pro. They're using her tactics. And I'm like, I don't have any tactics. What are you talking about? Because I obviously was my membership that started a year ago. And then I closed the doors because I didn't I can only hold space for a certain amount of people. And so I opened it and then I closed the door. And I did that like once. And then it was really funny. So, Kate and I were having some little giggles. So for all those little Chinese whispers, it had nothing to do with me.
No, nothing at all. And it's genuinely to support our members and to make sure this process of transformation and change is as seamless as possible. Because we want to make it a good experience,
Yeah. It was an interesting lesson for me, though, in perceptions, like how people can perceive things from the outside when they are not aware of all the facts. So I thought it was quite interesting. But anyway.
And I think people panic,
Yeah.
I think the messaging was always quite clear in that it is CHE Pro and, it's going to continue as usual, but we're closing the doors for now. But then people panic because they're like, this hasn't happened before.
I think it's a very wise decision because can you imagine like signing up as a new pro member and then the next month, like just getting used to that platform and the next month having to go to a different platform? That would be such a pain in the butt. So it really makes sense.
It's not fair on people and we want to make it enjoyable and easy.
And easy for Yasmin as well, because I'm sure she's probably the one behind the scenes doing all the like IT stuff. Yeah, making sure it's all working nicely. Now, I don't know if we're allowed to. Have we asked Marcus permission yet about whether we're allowed to talk about the thing that starts with an E?
Well, I can't say much, but we can talk generally about the thing that starts with E.
The E word.
So we announced it last month. We are holding, again, this is CHE Pro exclusive in terms of only CHE Pro members will be able to access tickets, will be able to buy tickets for this. It's going to be a 2-day event in London. It is going to be at Regent's University, and it's going to be a conference called Elevate. And I'm so excited because it's not your general conference that you're used to, that you would usually go to, where you have different speakers on, remedies and research. And it's going to be very much about you as a homeopath. Yeah. So if you think about the word elevate, it's about elevating you in your practice, but not just in your practice and in your profession, but you as a person, because this is what we need. This is what we need as homeopaths. And we know this, right? If we're not aligned and we're not on the right frequency, we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to grow. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now.
There's that
so much more.
That beautiful saying. I can't remember. I don't know if it's Carl Jung or somebody else that said that, but it's something along the lines of you can only ever take a person as far as you've gone yourself. And so great that there's this event for you as a practitioner / person to elevate yourself and grow yourself. And as you do, you'll find those clients will come and find you.
Exactly. And the right clients, the clients that you want, and the amount of clients that you want as well. And so much more than that. I think that's one thing that we really witnessed in the 2 social media workshops that we ran. So we did one for graduates and we did one for CHE Pro members. It's like a pilot to see, because it was brand new. We just designed it together. And what we found was there were so many limiting beliefs in the room. And I think that where we work in a profession where we are up against it, we are defending ourselves a lot, it's hard. And I think that it was incredible sort of talking about all these limiting beliefs that was stopping these people from using social media and from being present online and being themselves, and then busting those, and just the transformation, from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. They were so confident. They were, there was such a shift. And if you think about that, if you step back and think about that on a bigger picture, how we need that in every aspect, of our lives, in our professions, be able to get where we want to get and be where we want to be in our practice.
Beautiful. Love that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Kate, can you just tell us about the dates for Elevate and how the CHE Pro members, I mean, there has been emails for them, but is there anything that you can say to us about dates or registration or anything like that, or is that still under wraps?
We haven't released any tickets yet, but we have got a wait list. So you can sign up to the wait list.
Okay,
we can put the link in the show notes.
Yes.
Would that work?
Perfect. We can do that.
And then you can sign up, register, just put your name and email in, and then you'll be the first to know when the tickets go live. The only issue is that you have to be a CHE Pro member to access those tickets.
Okay.
So if you're not a member, then you won't be able to attend the conference. So if you want to sign up and you want to join us, you will get access to the tickets, but you'll also get all of the access to those webinars coming up January, March, April. So,
I'm really hoping I can help you guys, because it's just before my birthday as well. And I'm trying to think if I can convince my husband that this could be like a birthday present type thing.
Oh my God, please.
But, not just to see all of you, but also to see a Regent's College. It looks so beautiful. Whenever I see photos of it, I'm like, oh, it looks amazing.
It's just like classically British as well, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And it's, it's right on the edge of Regent's Park. So there's just so much greenery, and it's just a really nice feel, really nice energy there.
I love it. Now, apart from doing CHE Pro and all these other incredible things that you're doing, you also have your own private clinical practice. I don't know how you fit it all in between your kids and everything else, but tell us a little bit about that. Like, have you got like a special interest area, and how do you do it?
So, yeah, I've been seeing patients ever since I started training. So building my clinic up, and I work with everyone, I would say. I seem to attract a wide variety of different people. I work out of a physical clinic, but I also work on Zoom because I have patients, all around the country, across the globe as well. And which I love. I love the variety, but I do find that I seem to attract a lot of children behavioural cases, I would say. And that, I think, probably comes from my own experience with my daughter. She's a different child thanks to homeopathy. And I think people have seen that, locally in my community. And then they're like, I want some of that. Help me. So I treat a lot of children and families. But again, it's not just local. I attract them from all over the place. Because again, when we're in that energy frequency, right, we attract what we give off.
Mm.
And I love working with kids. I love working with the behavioral sphere, ADHD, and whether it's trauma or, I see everything. But yeah, I work with a lot of families as well. I find that I end up I will see the child or the parent, and then I will work my way around the family and see them all together. And I just love that dynamic. I love being able to treat them as one, because it is like the ultimate holistic care, isn't it? Treating that whole family, because you can really see the dynamics of what's going on and, miasmatically what's come down. So yeah, I really enjoy it and I love my job. I think we all love our jobs, don't we? We're very lucky.
It's very synergistic treating a family, because it's not 1 + 1 is 2. It's 1 + 1 is 5.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 members of the family, like, everyone benefits. Now, I know you've got Kate Howard, homeopathy.com, and you also run the CHE social. So people sometimes see you on there, but have you got your own socials as well?
Yes, I have. I am at Kate the Homeopath.
Okay, amazing. Is there like any final bits and pieces that you want to share with our listeners? I just want to make sure that we've covered everything.
I'm just thinking, I think, obviously, we are going to be having this is separate to CHE Pro. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
We have a beginner's course for people that are interested in, obviously this probably wouldn't be suitable for anyone not in the UK, but we have an in-person beginner's course in London coming up.
Is that the foundation course, or is that different? So
that's going to be a two-day exclusive course, beginner's course, and it's going to be led by Marcus. Marcus is going to teach the whole weekend.
I don't even know about this.
So this is new. This is brand new. And I think this is going live on the 5th of January. So by then it will be, it's going to be launched.
Okay. This episode's going to go out because I've got it scheduled in already. So the 5th of Jan. So is that when the course is, or that's when you're going to advertise the in-person course?
It will have been launched before then. So we're going to launch it probably end of December. So it'd already been launched by the time you guys listen.
So as in the course would have already happened, like the
No.
I'm confused.
Sorry, Margie.
I'm not that much of a marketing person. When you say launch, do you mean that is when it's getting advertised?
Yeah, we're gonna release it to everyone. Release tickets.
But the actual dates of it, have you got that?
The actual dates is going to be. Let me just double check so I don't get it wrong.
Is it going to be at Regent's College as well?
It's going to be at Regent's College. And it's going to be the 17th and 18th of January.
Oh, okay. Amazing.
So this is basically
2 days in person with Marcus learning. So like a home prescribing, obviously, course.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. But a very in-depth home prescribing course. 2 days in London, led by Marcus. So you get to learn from the best.
Oh. That's going to be incredible. Incredible. That was a nice surprise. I'm glad I asked that question now. I had no idea. Amazing. So I hope people, if you have the opportunity, go do that in person. How fun is that going to be? You're going to meet so many amazing like-minded people. It's not just going to be about the learning, but I think with things like that, it's when you meet these like-minded people in person and the connections and friendships that you make through that. That's incredible. And it's not just one day like that. I feel that first day, everyone's kind of like getting to know each other, getting into it. And the second day is always like the best, where you feel glad to get into.
And it's going to be on one of our college weekends. So you're going to be there with all the other students. There's going to be all the lecturers are around. So it's a really good chance to
that is cool
be with CHE,
Wow. I'll be that person like when I see Tony Hurley or when I've met Caroline Gaskin and Hillary in person now. If I saw like Tony or like Taryn or Ralph in person, I'll be like
fangirl.
Fangirl. Wow, that is very, very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. And the two of us are going to be hanging out a lot more in the years to come. I'm really excited about that.
Really excited.
Yeah, I've just felt so warmly welcomed by the whole CHE team, and it's been so great to get to know so many people. There's so much support for me here in Australia, like starting, the Australian branch, and to have this huge, team of people behind what we're doing. It's just such a like such a support.
I think being that we're all homeopaths, we know the power of this medicine, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think that's what, drives us so passionately to spread that around, because we know that by enabling someone to become a homeopath, they can then go and change so many lives that wouldn't have changed otherwise.
Yeah. Or even just to be a confident home prescriber. That is powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Totally.
Yeah.
Not having to, I have patients who have their kits, I always say to my patients, have a kit at home and start learning, recommend them books. Obviously, they use me as well and I support them. But, it's when they turn around to you and they say, oh my God, like I've not used Calpol, which is like,
yes, like Panadol over here. Yeah.
Paracetamol.
Yeah.
For 2 years. People aren't needing to go to the GP. And what I love about it is, as an ex-NHS nurse, like I'm saving the NHS money for where it's really needed.
Yes.
And that's what I love. It's like, you have patients coming back to you and they're saying, oh, like, I don't need that shoulder replacement anymore. My child doesn't need the grommets put in. They don't need the hysterectomy now, and think of like the impact on them, what it's avoided for them. And then you've got the homeopathy, which still blows my mind when a patient sits in front of me and they're like, oh yeah, like I don't need a hysterectomy anymore. They discharged me. And you're just like, wow. It still blows my mind.
It's a kick every time. I don't think you ever get over the satisfaction of,
No, it's
amazing.
I
had one of the most beautiful emails this week of a client who has been on antidepressants for 25 years. Like she's in her mid-50s and she's been on antidepressants for 35 years. 30, because in the email she said 3.5 decades. 35 years. And she's almost offered now. Like I said to her, if we're going to do this, if we're going to get you offered, you have to work with a doctor. And so she's been working with a very, holistic-minded medical doctor who has slowly, alongside the homeopathics, been weaning her off over the period of many months. And she's like, I should be done in about 2 or 3 months.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
She's like, her email, she's like, I'm feeling things, I'm seeing things. She said, and this is a thing that I always feel like clients are our biggest teachers. I never thought this was possible, but she said, I look around me and everything is brighter.
Wow.
Crazy. Like she says, literally colors are brighter.
Yeah, because it's just
Isn't it crazy that you can be on a medication that can dull colors around you? I didn't know this. So I'm like, wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's like this, the side effects of drugs. And I had a child that I've been working with for a while now. And she was when she came to me, she was on Montelukast. Have you heard of that?
No,
and it's
I haven't. What's that?
It's like a black box drug for allergies, respiratory. Yeah, she was not in a great way. A lot of allergies, a lot of behavioral stuff, as you would expect. Yeah, asthma, allergies, a big chest drug. And we got her off the Montelukast. She's not on it anymore. And her behavior is so different. You'd think that she was like typical on the spectrum, in terms of that's what they would have diagnosed. But, she was so asthmatic that she would get admitted to hospitals.
Wow.
So we had to work really closely with her, with remedies. And, we had the return of symptoms. Through chest infections, I'd go around there with my stethoscope and give her the carbo-veg and the phosphorus, and her SAPs would come back up. And she's done really well. And she had so much trauma around hospitals. And to see a child come off all the drugs and she's now thriving, she's winning like marathons in her sports, kids marathons.
Yeah.
Because she can, because her chest enables her to. And it's just like, we would never know, but what would her life have ended up like if she had been kept on that drug that was suppressing her so much? She wasn't regulating, she wasn't emotionally coping, and she developed like tics because of it.
Wow.
Like facial tics in the extremities. And it's now gone down to, she's just got one in her eyes now. And I think that's shifting now. So yeah,
Incredible.
it's amazing, isn't it? And how we have, the cases that respond really quickly, and then you have the cases where you just have to be gentle and work with it. And you look back and you think, wow, like so much has changed for that person.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, love it. Could talk about it all day.
All day. That's why we have, CHE Pro. We can go talk with our fellow homies on there. But Kate, it was lovely to hang out with you today. And we'll have hopefully get you back in the new year again to talk a bit more about Elevate or anything else exciting that you have happening. Thank you so much.
Well, that'll be great. Once we have Elevate, some more information on Elevate, and once we've got the release, more the tickets and everything, I can come back on and we can talk about it.
Amazing. Sounds good. Lots of love to you guys over there.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.